I hear stuff in the background. My key is over here. Hey, how y'all doing today? How y'all doing today? Y'all feeling good? Y'all feeling in alignment? Y'all ready to put this armor on? You know, I think it was last week, we talked about armor, but we was talking about it like in the context of taking it off, maybe. I know one of our talks we talked about taking off the armor. This week, we're going to talk about how to recognize the armor and how to put it on and use it through our menstrual cycles. So that means we're going to be talking about our inner winter, y'all. And I'm super excited about tonight's session because there's so many things that I have been learning over these past few weeks, and so many downloads that I don't have the time, but I do, to really go through some of the information the way that I would like to. But I'm glad to be here with y'all to do this in the timeline that I can, because I feel like what I am able to give that is super timely and useful, that's all I'm here to do. I'm just here to give y'all what I got. And I'm excited about it. And so today we're going to be working from the inner winter, and we're going to talk about some other aspects, but I wanted to bring this up first and foremost, is using that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this part right here. It's telling me that my internet is always doing something. I'm tell y'all, this whole internet bid and being online is a thing. I really have been thinking about ways for me to do this live, right? And when I say live, I mean like physically in location. My name is Shamir Falk. I'm the owner of Dr. Locks, and this is how I just turned my phone on so that I can go, and my homegirl Shamir popped up. We used to work together in Georgia, and she's the owner of Dr. Locks. And so if y'all know anything about her product, y'all know it's good product, Dr. Locks. But we used to work together at a salon called Peasy Heads in Georgia, and it's great experience. But I'm about to give y'all this information, and I'm super excited. And I'm going to go in our group so I can see it from my phone and be able to acknowledge comments and things that may come up as we are going through the session tonight. And I have not done any pre-shuffling or anything like that of our angel whisper cards or of the period power cards. So y'all get ready to see me in the midst of shuffling. If I sound a little stopped up, it's because my kids all had had allergies and stuff going on last week. And so it's also, like, I don't know, people be like it's allergies or whatever, but it's also been like this kind of sinus congestion, snotty, sneezing. That's been it, like no coughing or nothing, but yeah. So I'm still working through mine, okay? They all getting better, and I'm still over here working. But in the midst of that, let me get focused. Okay, I got my Gen Z shirt on. For those of you who are Gen Z, y'all know what it's about. Y'all know we ain't about no games, okay? So I hope that this message today comes with gifts for y'all. And I'm super excited to be here because when I talk about moon cycle revelation and the armor of God, okay, so that came out, but I don't know how it came out fully. But I am so excited because I want to be able to navigate this experience today with the real understanding. And it's so funny because 222 came out first. and then 1111 just popped out. Like 222 kind of just hit my finger, so I put it back. But 1111 came out, and I'm gonna keep it because it came out like it wanted to come out. And it's the card of intuition. And so I'm super excited about that. And we get ready to tap into this information. And so we got our angel whisper card, and now we get to get our period power card, y'all. And we're gonna make sure that we do this, because I realize like I don't be shuffling in between the cards like that, like old school, like, you know, cutting the deck and all of that. But we're gonna get these cards rolling and really get into it. But I hope that y'all are having a beautiful Monday, and I'm so grateful for everybody who decides to come on and jump on in this session with us today. Okay. All right, come on, Mother. Give us a nice little winter treat. Give us a harvest so we can really have this conversation today, and that it aligns with the information that was downloaded into our session on today. And I thank you. Okay. Okay. So the card that came out with the 1111 is vision. Okay. So y'all know I got to do my screenshot here. So let me do that so I can get my cards, because I've been loading my stuff up to YouTube, y'all. So y'all could go over, and I'll make sure I share the link in here later, but so y'all can get it. Okay, so we gotta read these cards. Let me get back in the group so I can make sure that I can see everybody or whatnot, and we're gonna keep it moving. And I'm super excited about this because it's gonna tell. Cards don't lie, y'all. So the angel whisper is about intuition. 1111. It says, trust in yourself. Your inner whisper is working hard to let you know that it is guiding you. Listen in. What is it saying? Feel it. Where is it telling you to go next? See it. Close your eyes and allow. Okay? Trust the path you are on. The affirmation is, my intuition speaks to me and I listen. I trust that all things are happening for a purpose. Okay? Vision. A lot of people like to say that intuition is about having vision, right? So I just feel like every time we pull these cards, they come back and they tell us what we need to know. As one cycle ends, another begins. And I don't pre-read these cards. I have not committed to memory what all of these cards mean. So when I pull, and sometimes they might be repeat cards, I'm not doing that, right? So when I hear this, it just reconfirms for me what it is that we're doing and why we're here, okay? So as one cycle ends, another begins. Use this moment to pause and take stock. Winter is the time to focus on your needs and to consider what's necessary for your upcoming cycle and for what you want more of in your life. Superpower. When you make space and are present during your winter, you will find yourself gifted with insights and creative solutions to problems that you've been stewing on for weeks or decades. Learn to trust your instincts and the messages that come to you while you are bleeding. Okay, the danger is if your period is light, short, or uneventful, then you could find it hard to stay present in your winter. In which case, set things up so that you're reminded to move with awareness and remember to slow down, even if it's only for 5%. The self-care tip is to take time out to ask yourself the following questions. What am I battling with? What am I ready to let go of? What needs my attention? What do I want more of? Where can I bring energy and focus into my life? Be truthful with yourself. Write it down and trust the universe has got your back. Okay, the affirmation on this card and on this card, they just basically saying the same thing. Okay, it says, my intuition speaks to me and I listen. I trust that all things are happening for a purpose. This one, self-care, says, be truthful with yourself. Write it down and trust that the universe has got your back. Listen, if y'all ain't got y'all journals, if you have a piece of paper, get a pen, do all the things right now, because we get ready to tap into this woman's armor. Because I think that a lot of the things that I have been downloaded and intuiting over these past few weeks has been really, really interesting, because last month and the month before, I had 2 periods, okay? 2 periods in 14 and 17 days, right, throughout the month. So I was like, what the heck is going on? But there's been a lot of energetic shifts going on, right? Not only in my own personal life, but esoterically, spiritually, in the environment. And when we are not aware, then we start to see these little irregularities come up. And some of them have been like these solar flares and a lot of the energy that's been coming from these black holes. We've got to really be aware of the environment that we're in so that we can really understand the environment that we're in. And I'm not going to just say that that was the cause of my cycle, because I've got my own personal stuff going on energetically that could have been a contributing factor too. But I am very aware of planetary alignments and how that impacts our capacity to experience things in a different way. And so when I got these intuition and vision cards, how they came out, I'm super excited about being able to deliver this information to y'all today, because really when we think about a biblical context, right? I want you to think about this as an embodiment. Like, so we embody these timing cues through our moon cycle. We're guided through these moments. We're doing this work to feel and to be full in these sessions. At least that's my work, right? So I'm hoping that I'm able to give you all this good stuff today. And I'm excited. I'm gonna take a drink. Because I've been talking. And I need some water. I've been coaching today, y'all. And it be like that. So welcome to the community. And I'm so glad we started on time. And I want to just talk to y'all today because God has had this theme on me and it's been real heavy. And I feel like my throat is doing something because the information that I want to share, sometimes these others don't want you to do it. Maybe let me get a peppermint. Because I have not been coughing at all until I got on here. So somebody trying to stop me from saying what I want to say or what needs to be said. Okay. That's how it goes. But today's moon cycle revelation is about the woman's true armor of God. Let me turn off this incense. It's usually not even bothering me, but I don't know what it's doing today and how. But we're going to get it together. A little peppermint, a little water. It's going to work it out. Okay. I feel like I'm back in. What is tickling me? What is it? What do y'all want me to say or not say? I'm listening. Okay. Today, we are renouncing. Okay, that's what's coming to me. Is it renounce? Renounce? Because I got my notes right here. My notes ain't saying renounce, but we are renouncing something that the world tried to shame out of us, right? Something that was holy. And in this holiness of our moon cycle, we have lost the reclamation that comes along with honoring this space. And that's why intuitively and instinctually, we lose vision. We lose vision because of our inability to rest. Okay, because I'm like, am I done with the cough? Do I need to get a little bit more out? Okay. Because what I feel like is trying to be stopped from me saying is the fact that this is our spiritual power. This is our spiritual power. I'm looking at my phone. This is our spiritual power. This is our protection. You know what I mean? And this is also the armor that God has placed inside a woman's body to connect to through her cycle. And I know that the further I'm getting into this, hey Sharita, I'm so glad you're here too, sis. The further I'm getting into this, the more I'm really understanding that y'all can really meet me on another level, because I'm starting to see things really, really different. And again, I mentioned from the beginning that we're not using our cycles the way that God intended it. I have to pour me some more water. We're not using our cycles the way that God intended it. So we're seeing irregularities. We're seeing early menopause. We're seeing a lot of surgical procedures. We're seeing a lot of other complications that our bodies are experiencing because we have not had the opportunity to really place God inside of this space because we don't want it. So I want to pause for a second. Okay. Daughter of God. I think that's the first point, is that we don't identify ourselves as daughters of God. And the real truth is that we don't put on the armor because we're not physically going out to do battle, right? We are the armor. We are the covering. And we're the covering for our counterparts. And a lot of times we want our counterparts to cover us. And the covering that a man has, when you're talking about man is the head of the house, right? the head of the house does not mean that he has jurisdiction. If he doesn't have a spiritual relationship as the son, the son of God, then you being the daughter of God is not going to be mirrored. And that's what I think a lot of times in our essence, we look at our womb and our womb becomes our weakness when our womb is not our weakness. Our flow is not a defilement, and our cycles are not punishment, right? It's a built-in spiritual defense system that's activated in rhythm with heaven. You know, that's why they say heaven lies at the foot of mother. When a woman starts her menarche, when a young girl becomes a woman, quote fingers in the air, because just because she has a cycle doesn't mean that she's a woman. But when she gets to that point in her life where her cycle comes on, right? She comes online, basically. When she comes online, now she's able to get a different level of spiritual downloads to be a defense system for herself. But when we are not taught from little girls to honor this space, we end up missing the fact that point in time in our cyclical process is the armor. It is the intuition. It is the vision. So we don't get to really tap into that stillness that is needed. You know, I say, be still and know that I am God, right? So when God is telling you to call to be still, that stillness is not really able to be exemplified. So we can't get the messages to know God and to hear God and to really feel the spiritual protection that is coming over our bodies as our bodies are releasing one part to receive another part, which becomes the follicular phase, which is the co-creative space, when our bodies get to actively create from the very thing that we just let go of. Because we're looked at as weak and defiled and punishing. Like, so we push that away. And I feel like that's the part of it that we're missing. That's what makes it irregular. Because we don't want it. And that's irregular. It's irregular to not want to have a cycle. Okay? I hope this is going somewhere, because I really feel like it was trying to stop me from having this conversation. I really do. Before we get into all of this, because I got some other stuff, we're gonna do some breath work, because I feel like that's what I need to give for y'all, to give to y'all, to give to myself, because I don't know if y'all know what breath is, and if y'all ever thought about it like this, and why it's important that we do it, because our breath is our life force. Our breath is God. That's why when you're having a baby, there's certain breathing techniques that you use to help minimize pain. And it's the same breathing techniques that you use when you need to activate certain systems in your body, and you need to open yourself up to be able to receive certain things. And it becomes the shield of stillness, is that when you can really harness your breath. Yeah. So we're going to do a 4-4-6 hold. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. And with each inhale, we're going to imagine drawing in God's protection. And then with each exhale, we're going to release every lie ever told about our bodies, okay? Drawing in God's protection when we inhale, we exhale in every lie that's ever been told about our bodies. All right. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. You know, we're going to anchor this in by doing this a few times. So inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Come on and inhale that last big thing of protection. Hold that protection. And release those lies. You're stepping into your spiritual armor. Okay? As a woman, we can say spirit first, womb second. Our male counterparts, they have to come through the natural, which is through the womb first, and then they get acclimated to the spirit. I had this conversation with a friend not too long ago, a family member actually, and we were talking about like how things are given from God from the natural first, and then we're acclimated into the spirit. And it came to me that for women, we get spirit first. We get spirit first. And then we're activated into this other realm, which is when we become aware of our womb, when we become menstruating bodies. So when they talk about mind, body, spirit, you know, they want to make spirit be last. But for a woman, we need spirit first. We need spirit first so that we can maintain, one, our holiness, right? Two, so that we can maintain our awareness. And three, so that we can maintain that as a point of our safety. And when we have those things in place, that becomes our spiritual armor. That becomes the armor that we're able to walk out here with, and we can have that image of protection. We can have that glow. We can have that power to rest. We can have that power of being a co-creator. We can have that power to be able to use our mouths and to speak it and use our words so that we're not being choked up. So that in the end, when we're walking out of that space, we can check the boxes off and say, yeah, I did what I was supposed to do while I was here. Before we go deeper, y'all, I want to anchor us into a couple of scriptures, because I feel like a lot of the information and downloads that I have been getting, they were downloads, true indeed, but I wanted to find a way for me to share this information and to share it in a way that, I don't want to say justified, because justified is not the word, but confirmed, right? To confirm. And so in the book of Leviticus 20 and 18, God instructs the woman's cycle that it should not be violated. And it's not because she's unclean, but it's because she's in a heightened level of sacredness. This is why the women would go off when they were on their cycle, and they would have groups of women, because they were all synced up through biomimicry, or not biomimicry, what is it called? Something mimicry, where basically one woman sets the tone, usually, which is an older woman. You have this happen a lot of times in your households, where the mom, she's going to offset her daughter's cycle. One daughter's going to start, the next girl's going to start, and it kind of has this cyclical process. If you're not paying attention, it's all cyclical, right? So when we think about these things, it's not that God is like that. It's a violation, you know, for a woman's cycle to be in the presence of people. But she's supposed to, it's like a birthing process. She's giving birth to, one, an unfertilized egg. And two, she's giving birth to new information. She's downloading. So that time that she needs to rest should not be violated or disturbed or be looked at as something that is like, ew. Like, no, it's supposed to be a point in time where she's supposed to be able to get more information. So during those days, what I'm intuiting is that God was putting a hedge of protection around women during that time, so she could not be violated. And sometimes it was about sexual violation and all kind of other things, because we know that our male counterparts in all aspects of life in time have the potential to be predatory. Okay, so we make sure that we keep that information on top up here, okay, on top, so that we can understand that the cycle is woman's protection. And if you know anything about understanding our vital signs, the first question I'm always asking women is, what does your cycle look like? And if you don't have a cycle anymore, what was the catalyst that created space for you to no longer have a cycle? Was it surgical? Was it menopausal? You know, have you never had one? Have you been suffering from amenorrhea? Like, what are some of the things that has created this space? Because a lot of times what I've also found is that women who have experienced very deep levels of violation, and this is a trigger warning, and I really want to make sure that I'm creating space for us to be able to have these open and deeper dialogues. The PTSD that comes from trauma, abuse, whether emotional, physical, verbal, financial, whatever, it deposits into our body as cortisol. High levels of cortisol don't only disrupt our hormones and create all this fight or flight energy, it also disrupts our capacity of our lymph systems to work correctly, of our nervous systems to work correctly. And when those don't work correctly, guess what else is not flowing correctly? Our menstrual cycle, our ovulation cycle. The ovulation cycle is really big when it comes to talking about the co-creative energy, because we can't even get there. We can't. Most people are missing ovulation because their bodies are not even in the capacity to hold space for that. So we've got to really dig deeper into understanding that, right? That our cycles are protective. These are women's constructs for protection. So another scripture, Isaiah 58:8. Your healing will spring forth speedily, and the glory of the Lord will be your rear guard. While your body is shedding, your spirit is shielding. This is why when a woman is on her cycle, she don't want to be bothered. It's her natural defense. She's like this. She's scanning. And it's like a snake. When a snake is shedding, you can't go and just be all up on it. Or when another, what's a reptile, something is molting, that's what they call it when they're molting. You can't just go and be up on it, because guess what it's going to do? It's going to attack you. It's going to try to protect itself. And not because it's angry, but because it's doing something. It's shedding, it's growing. Last one, y'all, for this biblical foundation. Proverbs 46. I hope y'all writing this down. Leviticus 20:18, Isaiah 58:8, and Psalms 46:5. God is within her. She will not fail. Look them up for yourself. Okay? Because this is not a metaphor. It's not. I just made these little quick notes, but menstruation is a theology. Our menstrual cycles are a theology of the womb. And if we understood it like that, We understand that this is church. If we want to go to church and we want to have these different levels of procession, I was watching what's his name? Philip Michael Anthony, I think his name is, the other day. He was talking about how everybody kind of like moved their context around the procession of a synagogue. And he talked about these 4 parts. And as I was listening to him, all I could see was the 4 cycles. You know, it's the construct of the gathering, the reading of the word, the fellowshipping, and then the children. That's what we're doing. This is what makes us so powerful and so valid as women. And if we've never ever heard it, I hope you hear it today. That God built a cycle to guard, to guide, and to ground us as women. And when the scripture says in Psalms 46:5 that God is in the midst of her and she shall not be moved, God shall help her in that right and early, meaning that he's going to help her at the very beginning stages. That means we gotta start showing our young girls this stuff early. This is what I feel like God is imparting to me. Everybody else, y'all might get a different understanding, but that's what I'm getting. We got to do this early, y'all. We got to be able to show and guard this information for our young girls early. And if we don't, then what? If we don't, then what? What are we going to do? We're going to just keep sitting up here saying that, you know, all this stuff is going on within our communities and we're not doing nothing about it? So God built the cycle to help us to create space as guardians, as guides, and as groundswomen to tend to our gardens. Okay? And this is the revelation. This is what happens spiritually during a woman's cycle. Let me tell y'all. We just went on and talked about the 4 things, right? Menstruation is equal to purging armor, the inner winter, the letting go. This is when God deliberately removes what cannot go with you into the next season. Spiritually, though, your discernment is sharpest, your intuition is loudest, and your emotional truth is undeniable during this time because you are shedding spiritually and physically. This is a divine detox of sorts, okay? Not only do you does blood come out of your body, if you haven't noticed, your intestines, your bowel movements are also moving because everything here in the solar area is being moved around and out so that whatever may be coming next has room to be planted. And that removal is a divine protection. It's a divine recalibration. And if we don't see it like that, you know how they talk about that women have different hearts. We got this heart here, right? But we also have, our womb is another type of heart. And when they're connected, we see a certain level of purging that has to happen in order for us to stay in physical and spiritual alignment with what our body's natural processes are. In the book of Ezekiel, God gives a new heart and removes the old. What does that mean? We're going to shed a heart, or a part of our heart, a part of our co-creative capacity every month for 400 to 500 plus times in a lifetime. That's the capacity of what we can, depending on how long you have your cycle. Like when you start, if you start earlier, you're going to have more, or in between having children, or if some other incident comes up in life where that number is shortened, that is going to happen. And God is going to consistently give you a new heart every time, and he's going to remove that old energy every time so that you can really be in that greatest part of like that purging energy. God wants you to be new. He wants to renew you every time. And that's an intention, spiritual intention. Ooh, I hope that this is not super heavy. I hope it's hitting home. Because as we go into this other section, we talk about the follicular phase. This is the helmet of salvation, okay? This is the inner spring. This is when your mind clears, your ideas are flourishing, your strategies come back online, and that cognitive function, increases, right? And this is when God deposits what? Vision. This is when you're supposed to be journaling real heavy, because in the book of Habakkuk, 2 and 2, write the vision. Get the intuition that came and write it down. Write it down so that you can put the seeds in the soil. My auntie just told me, and I think I said this to y'all before, like sometime in last month's session, that you gotta write stuff down. Sometimes you don't need to tell your homegirl, you don't need to tell your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever, however, your daughter, your cousin, your mama. You need to write it down, because sometimes God is only giving that information to you. And when you don't deposit that seed in the soil the right way, which writing, okay, spelling, casting, that's what that is, right? When you write it down, it solidifies it. Versus when you put it out there in the effort world, anything and any energy can catch hold to it. Any energy can catch hold to it and twist it and manipulate it in a way that sometimes it comes back to us in ways that we didn't expect or we didn't desire. Because we put it out there prematurely, and a lot of times that prematurity also comes from our capacity or incapacity to rest. We can't rest and be still in the Lord. So we can't, our helmet sometimes can't fit either, because we're too big-headed. We just be thinking like, oh, I got an idea, let me go tell this idea. Like, no. You have to wait. That's what the ovulation phase is about. It ain't just about creating babies. When we think about this math, 28 days. So every 7 days we get to do this work. How divine is that for it to be 7? I was riding today on my way to take the boys to school. I be taking pictures of license plates, y'all, when I see angel numbers. If I could just show y'all how many angel numbers and 144s I see in a day, y'all would be like, this girl is crazy. Maybe just a little bit. But I saw 777. And when I saw the 777, all I could think about was like, whoa, this is really our cyclical patterns. Yes, it can be different numbers than that, but 28 days is the general standard. So we're gonna have 7 days of bleeding, 7 days of co-creation, 7 days of voice activation, and 7 days of getting that shit right. So when we get into ovulation, that is the sword of the spirit. Do you hear me? This is when you can speak boldly. This is when you can profess, because your attractiveness, your physical attitude, your spiritual attitude, your magnetic, it goes up. This is the inner girl, the inner hot girl summer, whatever we want to call it. God amplifies your voice in this phase. You can say things and speak more clearly because you've taken the time to be able to get the things out that you needed to get out, so that the things can be infilled that you needed to, so that you can present them rightly unto the world. And that's why it's also important to journal, so that you can have the things written down, so when you get ready to go and use your voice, you already know what you need to say, so you ain't stumbling. Telling y'all, some of these things don't be wanting us to get this information. Proverbs 31:26. She opens her mouth with wisdom. She opens her mouth with wisdom. And a lot of times we can't find the words, we can't get the wisdom, because we're too busy listening and hearing too many other people and not really getting the information from spirit, from God. Okay, and people can say whoever, call whoever's name that they want with God, but I'm gonna tell y'all, I do use my power with Jesus Christ. I am Christ-centered, because I totally understand, and I know that when I look back over the biblical context, the spiritual context, there were so many people who came that I have yet to see anyone speak like him with authority or exercise things like him. And if I'm unaware, bring it to me so I can have more awareness. But that is who I use as my tool when I get this information to amplify these sessions, because I want to make sure that what I'm doing also is pleasing to God. I want to make sure that what I'm sharing and the information I'm sharing is foundational. And what's foundational to me is what I've learned that my grandmothers used. And they lived good lives. They weren't perfect, but they lived good lives. And they gave me vision. And majority of the women that I've encountered over my years and throughout my life, my young adult life growing up, they gave me vision. They gave me intuition. And so I know that because of what has been given to me, I'm supposed to give that back. I can't keep it to myself. So that's why I do this work here, because it's so important. And that's why it says that we're supposed to open our mouths and tell the tale during ovulation. But guess what happens in luteal? That's the breastplate of righteousness. And right now I'm in the luteal phase. This is the inner autumn. The truth comes forward. Your body becomes intolerant for hypocrisy. We don't want to hear that shit. Okay? You see what's misaligned, and you know it. And what I tell y'all, this is the way that God is safeguarding you with discernment before you even get to ministration. Before you get up there and you ministrate, God is putting it in you now. Psalms 51:6. Yeah, I'm going to tell y'all something else I'm seeing. I'm seeing mathematical codes in the scriptures. I just told y'all Proverbs, and it specifically has been in Proverbs. But Proverbs 31 and 26, if you add 3 and 1, or 3 plus 2, 1 plus 2, it equals 6, right? Psalms 51 and 6, if you add 5 plus 1, it equals 6. There's a cosmology that happens when we're talking about spiritual things in the natural. So this biblical context was written so that we can use it in the natural, that it elevates us in the spiritual. Psalms 51 and 6 says, your desire, truth, is in the inward parts. That means that the things that you want and that you desire most for yourself, it comes from within. Whatever has been deposited in you, it comes from your heart. You desire truth in the inward parts. You don't want to tolerate no BS. You don't want to be in misalignment to nobody. So you cover yourself. And sometimes people call it PMS because you like, I'm not dealing with this, and this, because that ain't what you're supposed to be doing. What you say, sis? Listen, I'm working hard, sis. I'm working hard because I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for me because if I do it for me and it worked for me, I feel like it'll work for anybody. You know, and I think that people get that kind of twisted. It's like, God is favoring me, it's for me. No, it's for everybody. 1 by 1, 2 by 2. I know y'all want to knock me out. Y'all want me to get this information up because if y'all ain't been watching the whole thing about the solar flares and all that, like the other day, I was talking about there was 10 suns that came out of that black hole. And if y'all don't know what that means, 10 suns. And it ain't just suns like y'all talking about, like we talking about the Son of God. Okay? We talking about the Son of God. 10 of them came out of that black hole. And those with eyes, let them see. We are getting ready to move into a different spiritual dimension. So I'm teaching this because I want women to understand, if you can, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. That's what they were teaching at church this past Sunday. That's what he's talking about. He's been teaching about the lost one. So if only one person gets this information in this group and they make it applicable to them, to their community, and they share it or whatever, that's enough for me. My hope is that they just go get one more. Because this work is about really being able to anchor us down with right information. And I know y'all not getting this information about your menstrual cycle nowhere else. I see other women online, and people be like, oh, you need to be online doing this and this. I'm moving everything to my YouTube channel, and that's where I'm starting, But I see women talking about this stuff, and they just talking about the very minute amount that they know. And some of the information I hear is twisted up. But they want to talk about it, and they don't really have no spiritual connection to it. And I'm saying this to say you have to be discerning, because sometimes people will lead you in the pathway that will shut you down. And all you will know is the basis. I need for the individuals in this group to know a little bit more than the basis. Okay? I need you to know 10% more than what the community know. So I give you 10%. And I need you to take that 10% and multiply it. Because I can't be everywhere. And if you don't want to do the work in that capacity, invite people to the group. Invite them to the group so that they can be in here getting this information. Because who knows, whoever you might invite, they might decide that they want to take flight too. And they might want to go out there and start teaching and sharing information and bringing more people in, going to get more sheep. And so I'm going to do a guided meditation with y'all. And we're going to get on and move on through this stuff so we can be prepared and ready when the time comes for us to get on off here. Because I want y'all to really embody the fact that this is armor that's within us. It's already in us. You ain't got to go out and go buy nothing. It's already within you, right? So I want you to place your hand on your heart and one hand on your womb. And I want you to say, God is within me. God protects me. God speaks through my cycle. God is within me. God protects me. And God speaks through my cycle. God is within me. God protects me. And God speaks through my cycle. And I want you to visualize a golden shield from the top of your chest all the way down and around your womb. A crown of light above your head, a sword of truth at your throat, and a mantle of peace covering your shoulders. Now, when I tell you, you are not fragile, I need you to know that you are fortified. You are fortified with everything you need to be strong, to be in alignment with yourself first. It's not about being in alignment to your children, to your partner, to your job, to your community. It's to yourself first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You can't protect what you can't protect. If you can't protect yourself, then you can't protect nobody else. Like on the airplane, they tell you to put your mask on first. This is your opportunity to put your mask on first, because majority of us as women, we have been on a flight of PTSD and stress for so long that we don't even have the oxygen to slow down, to breathe in. We way up there, we too high up. The altitude is too heavy. And we forgot how to breathe. So we take moments like these to come back to center, to find our way home, to reconnect to our value one more time. To hopefully catch a wave of inspiration, of co-creation, of spiritual enlightenment, that we can renounce shame and guilt and harm and trauma, so that we can reclaim purpose, power, passion, productivity, All in the name of Jesus. Fortify. So I want you to think about like why a woman's cycle is is her armor, right? It's not a monthly inconvenience for one. It's a monthly prophetic alignment. It's an alignment to emotional clarity, to spiritual discernment, to creative revelation, to embodied wisdom, and divine protection. Because God knew that to be a woman is to also be a warrior wrapped in this softness. This is why we can carry children. This is why we can breastfeed. This is why we can make love. This is why we can do a lot of things that our male counterparts cannot do. And hold space for this cyclical process that causes us to bleed when we are not fertilized and not die. There's power in the blood. This is why Christ was so partial to women, because he knew that we had emotional clarity. He knew that we had spiritual discernment. He knew that we had creative levels of revelation that he couldn't get through with the men. He knew that there was an embodied wisdom and that we had a covering of divine protection. So I don't want you to be thinking about, oh my gosh, you're not dramatic. You're discerning. You're not hormonal. You're just hearing from heaven, and those heavenly bodies just so happen to be within us doing all these things at the same time when they're out of balance. And when we're out of balance, meaning we can't rest, we're not eating right, we're not sleeping right, because rest and sleep are two different things. You need them both. We're not getting physical activities in. We wear high heels everywhere we go and tight restrictive clothes. And ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with wearing heels every now and again and doing all the things. But our bodies are divinely made to be soft and to also be in this mode of high honor that allows us to be these kind of warrior kind of figures. And when we don't know that, we settle for the mediocre. We settle for low-hanging fruit. Okay? When we really are high-ranking. And we can't settle for less than that. So I'm going to give y'all a journal exercise. And I want y'all to think about this. I'm going to put this prompt in our chat. And I want you to think about this. I want you to ask yourself, what truth is God revealing to me this cycle? Wherever you are in your cycle, I want you to think about it and ask, what is God revealing? Right? Where do I need the armor of boundaries? Remember, we talked about boundaries so much. Like, boundaries are not just about protecting yourself from people. Like, it's not you put up a wall so that people don't mess with you a certain kind of way. It's about what you allow to come in. What is God asking me to release? You know, sometimes it's people, but sometimes it's just habits. You know, sometimes it's habits like, okay, God might be saying, I need for you to release social media. I need for you to release eating all that sugar. I need for you to release talking about people, gossiping. Like, it could be anything. It ain't necessarily just got to be, you know, something about a person. Because this is about you. I'm talking to you. Like, what is God asking you to release, right? And then what phase am I in? And what armor does it give you today? Based upon what we shared, what armor does it give to you? I just dropped it in the chat. I hope y'all can see it. Hey, Tina. I see you. We're almost at time, y'all. And I want to stay on the time, but I want y'all to make sure y'all take advantage. Take advantage of these opportunities to be able to really tap into your body. Because a lot of times we be up in our head, and when we up in our head, we can't even get in our heart. And we damn sure can't get in our womb space because we not in our heart. We too busy in our head floating around up there in the stars, trying to think about all the things. So we gotta do this affirmation. And I want y'all to repeat after me. With this affirmation, y'all know I like affirmation because I like to anchor in this information because, or this wisdom, I want it to be embodied, right? I want it to be felt so that when you are out here walking around in the world, you're not uncovered. So I want y'all to repeat with me. Hope y'all done right now, y'all promise. My body is not cursed. It is covered. My cycle is not chaotic. It is coordinated by God. I move in divine rhythm. I honor my boundaries. I walk clothed in spiritual armor. God is within me, and I will not fail. See, it say fall, but I said fail, so maybe both. I will not fall. I like fail better though. It's 4:44 on the clock. We're gonna go a little bit over because I had to get through all of the technical difficulties of the throat chakra. But I want us to think about woman as a tabernacle, as a sanctuary, as a synagogue, as a church. Before there was a church building, there was a woman. The first sanctuary, the first temple, the first carrier of the word made flesh. Your cycle is not random. It's not random. It's liturgy. And every month, God brings you through death, burial, cleansing, renewal, resurrection. Every month. You're a monthly miracle, whether you want to believe that or not. And that's your armor. Your armor is that you get to do this. And if you no longer get to do this, you still have this essence of armor that covers you every single day. And as we close out, I want you to just remember, we closed out on 444, right? 444, which is a number of foundation. Okay, I start the opening with 333 because 333 is about revelation. And I like to end on 444 because it creates the foundation. It's the pathway, right? And so I like to end this by telling you, I bless your womb with this work. I bless your rhythm. I bless your boundaries. I bless your armor. My work is to be a blessing to women, to be a blessing to give not just education, but to give reclamation. That you know that God created you for a divine and righteous purpose. And when I say that some cycles are meant to be repeated, I mean that. Not just our monthly cycles, but we are the cycle of life. We are the cycles with co-creation. And God knew that and created us as such. And I hope that you embody that. And I hope that y'all have a blessed rest of y'all evening. And love, light, and liberation. Peace.